Hey, what is going on, webheads? Roundaway here. I love crossovers in fighting games. It's one of my favorite things about fighting games, and some of my favorite series, like Marvel vs. Capcom and Smash Bros, are just giant crossovers. I don't know, there's just something about seeing a bunch of like random characters, or like, you know, characters that aren't from the same thing just fighting each other. It's a sick idea. Everybody loves crossovers, you know, crossovers are in everything nowadays. Fighting games, obviously, like I said, no exception to that rule. DLC and whatnot. Sometimes they're great and can really add to the game. Sometimes they're just kind of, yeah. But today I'm going to be talking about crossover characters, or guest characters as they're more commonly known, that I think should be in a fighting game. Because there's honestly a lot. I mean, obviously, the sky's the limit with guest characters. It all comes down to, like, you know, rights and like who's willing to give what characters to what. But there's just, I'm gonna just be sharing some that I think should be in more games, or any game, and it's weird that they're not. And yeah, that's pretty much it, gist of it. Remember, this is just my opinion. I know some of these are gonna be completely out there, and I'll try to give my reasoning as to why I think this, but yeah, enjoy the video and let me know down below if you like this video. Let me know, and also just tell me, I guess, like what characters you would want to see. And yeah, let's finally get into it. First, we gotta start this off with, I think, one franchise that it's one of my favorites, and they're probably the most known in recent history for their crossover characters. Obviously, I'm talking about Mortal Kombat. Now, Mortal Kombat, they've been doing guest characters since the NetherRealm, like, timeline really started with MK9. You know, they had Freddy Krueger and Kratos for, like, the PlayStation exclusive version, which, lucky me, when I was a kid, I had that version, so... Freddy wasn't PlayStation exclusive, by the way, that's... I just meant Kratos. Ever since then, they've been doing a bunch of, like, guest characters. You know, MKX was, like, really horror-themed. We got Jason, Leatherface, Alien, and Predator. MK11 started putting in like comic books and action movie characters, and same thing with MK1. Let's go back. I've said all these characters, right? But like, let's go back to MK9, Kratos. Why was there never any other video game character in MK at all? Like, I don't get it. It's like weird. I feel like, especially because, you know, it is a video game, it'd make more sense than putting a lot of these other characters. I know Mortal Kombat's like a butt-old franchise, that's why, and they want to get like, you know, the boomer crowd, like a lot of people that demographic would know, but more people who are playing Mortal Kombat are like younger, like my age or slightly older, you know what I mean? Like, there's very few like super old people playing Mortal Kombat still. Now, I know why they never did really that many video game characters, because Kratos, obviously PlayStation, he was a PlayStation exclusive character. You couldn't play him on Xbox or PC. He's not without mods anymore. While there was actually rumors a long time ago about like Marcus Phoenix and Master Chief being on the Xbox 360 version of Mortal Kombat 9, you know, as sort of like a, to make it more fair that, you know, PlayStation gets an exclusive character, so does Xbox. I think the idea of just them never putting another one, or even considering one, is criminal for how long Mortal Kombat has been going on. Like, I feel like it just makes sense. And the person that makes the most sense is obviously the Doomslayer from the Doom series. I mean, he would have fit in Mortal Kombat regardless of what era you put him in. Even if you put him in, like, the Mortal Kombat, like, 1 through 3 era, especially because like Mortal Kombat and Doom were probably the two most violent video games from back then. But going back to nowadays, you could make the argument of, you know, they'd probably make Doomslayer like a weird zoner, because, you know, NRS, they love their zoners. You know, Doom, I don't know if you've never played Doom before, but it's a very fast-paced game. Like, Doom Guy's not the type to be like, you know, just like camping in the back with like his guns and shit. Like, he gets up close and personal with a lot of his guns. And if you really wanted to be like, if you were scared about it, you could give him like not his full arsenal if you want. You could just give him like the super shotgun, give him maybe a couple explosives, you know, the grappling hook too, the like prayer suit can do a bunch of different shit. He's literally got Baraka claws. Like, he's got the spikes on his wrist, you know what I mean? He has wrist blades, for Christ's sake. You can make him a cool grappler, especially with the glory kills. Like, come on, like, you can basically give him, let's say if he was an MK1 or MK13 or whatever the next game will be, you could give him like crushing blows as like a gameplay mechanic. Like, obviously, crushing blows, even me, I'm not really a fan of them, like, just normally in gameplay, but I feel like for Doom Guy, you can make an exception for him, because it fits him the most, I feel like. Hey, if you're extra worried about the guns, fuck the guns. Make him the version from Doom the Dark Ages with the shield. I would be so sick in Mortal Kombat. He just has his flail and fucking shield that he could just throw, and it's a literal buzzsaw shield. You could do some like Kung Lao shit with him too. I feel like he'd be really sick as a character, and it's kind of a missed opportunity that he hasn't been in a Mortal Kombat game yet. Okay, now, I'm not the best at Tekken, but I can appreciate the series, and I like Tekken a lot from like a story and lore standpoint. And I'm always interested in it whenever something new and crazy happens. And Tekken, honestly, right now, we need a guest character. I know we just got the guy from Final Fantasy, what is it, 16 now? I'm forgetting what it is. Yeah, we just got him, but like, you know, with the game's current state right now, every time I see this game, it's always something super negative, or like people just being like, yeah, this game sucks now due to like whatever, like the balancing or whatnot, or whatever the newest issue is. And especially on top of that, an underwhelming season 2, at least that's what it looks like and what I've heard from people. Like, most of the characters are people that like nobody cares about. Except me, I like Falcon Rom, I don't care. But yeah, right now Tekken seems to be in dire straits, so I think a guest character, they really could use like a new one that will like wow everybody. I know some of the popular ones are like Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, Snake, which would also be really sick and be good timing with, you know, Metal Gear 3 remaster, remake coming out. And always there's the ever popular Kiryu from Yakuza, which, oh my god, that would be so sick. I'd probably actually want to get good at Tekken if Kiryu was in the game, but no. I have a few of my own that I want to recommend. Now, to be honest, if you're allergic to anime, you should probably just stop watching this part or skip ahead. I don't know what it is, but I just think anime characters would fit a lot in Tekken. You know what I mean? Like, basically, if you played the Tekken 8 story mode, and even some of, like, the end of Tekken 7 story mode, Tekken is basically just a fucking anime. I mean, they made an anime about it that, I mean, not many people talk about, but still. It's actually insane how, like, bonkers the Tekken story is, and I actually like it a lot. That's one of my favorite parts about Tekken. So I have a few anime characters that they could put in. First one would be a Baki character, and I think this is kind of obvious. Like, most people who like Baki are aware of Tekken. I mean, look at some of the characters in Baki. Like, Retsu literally looks like Fang. Like, he looks like him already, you know what I mean? But specifically, either Baki Hanma himself, I think him and Jin would be like a cool pairing to see, because, you know, they have dickhead dads. Or if you want to go the dickhead dad route, because Tekken from like Tekken 7, they seem to put a lot of like villains for DLC characters. Why not just put the main man himself, Yujiro Hanma? I think Yujiro Hanma would honestly be way cooler than just Baki himself. Like, Yujiro is just that guy. Like, if you know, you know. Yujiro Hanma is one of the most insane, evil motherfuckers ever. He's so funny and so villainous. I feel like he'd fit perfectly in Tekken. Like, he's basically like Heihachi and Kazuya combined. That's just like to get an example of what he's like. And yeah, there are a lot of like buff characters in Tekken already. Again, going back to Falcon Wrong, who's basically the closest thing to a Baki character. But like, Yujiro would just tower over everybody with like sheer muscle. I want to see what he looks like in like a realistic Tekken art style. This motherfucker would be so terrifying. And bro, the demon back, seeing that rendered in like 4K Ultra HD would be so sick. Also, the idea of like putting like Yujiro in like goofy little outfits, like with the customization was just too good to pass up. And people have already made him in fucking the character creator already, so why not? Also, imagine like you get your ass beat by Yujiro, and then he does the fucking invisible soup shit, and he just starts drinking the invisible soup. That shit would be so funny. I have two more potential characters for Tekken, at least. One is Gojo from JJK. I think he fits Tekken a lot, like, even more than, like, someone like Yuji. I know Yuji's the main character, but Gojo would have people flipping the fuck out. I feel like especially a lot of casual anime fans would, like, want to actually try out Tekken if Gojo is in it. Like, Gojo is such a lovable character. And I want to see how they work, like, Infinity into, like, his moveset. I know he's in Curse Clash or whatever, but, like, Come on now, it's Curse Class, you know what I mean? I can imagine him being like a heavy, like, dodge and counter-based character. The only problem I can see with Gojo is mainly Wing Chun. That seems to be his main, like, fighting style. If we go by, like, the racial beatdown he did to fucking Miguel in the movie. We already have Leroy Smith, who's the Wing Chun character of the game. But I feel like they could make it work, because he's not just Wing Chun. He kind of just has, like, you know, his own style of fighting. He only really does the Wing Chun stuff in that actual fight, in the, well, it's more of a beatdown than a fight, but you know what I mean. Also, I could imagine him using, like, red and purple for, like, his rage mechanics. And then his rage art, he just does a gigantic hollow purple. The last character I want to just say for Tekken is Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Like, come on, he would be so fucking funny. Again, another villain, and I know it'd be like, it'd just be weird putting him over like Snake or someone else. Like, that probably fits more, but like, just a big powerhouse man, and then like all of his win quotes are like the different like random tirades he goes on. Would be so funny. And we know the nanomachines, like, he can absorb damage and shit. I like to just see him, like, for the rage art, like, he like rage baits you, and then he just starts like punching at you like right, and it just doesn't work and shit. He could also shoot, like, you know, like, he punches the ground and the magma comes up. I think he could make a really interesting moveset, and it would get people talking, bro, because like, and like, they don't put Raiden, they don't put Snake, but they put Senator Armstrong. That'd be way too funny. The giant Metal Gear that you fight on top of in the end of the game would be perfect for a stage. Moving on to Street Fighter. Now, Street Fighter is a series that's basically, they've not really done that many crossovers in terms of like in an actual Street Fighter game. They don't really have guest characters. The only ones you could argue is like Final Fight, and with Street Fighter V they did Rival Schools, but those are in the same universe. That doesn't really count in my opinion, you know what I mean? Like, it is cool and a huge step forward, especially, and with Street Fighter 6 they've gone out of their way to do like Mai and Terry. They've had crossovers with them before, but they've never like put those characters in their games before just randomly. It'd honestly be nice to get even more Capcom characters, but like not specifically connected to Street Fighter type characters. I'd be down for like Leon Kennedy or something like that, even though them having to explain how zombies, all that shit happens in the Street Fighter universe would be kind of funny. But honestly, I think there's someone else they could. Okay, hear me out. Cyclops, like, making his return with the Marvel thing, especially because, like, we've seen with the Capcom collection, I mean, I know Tokon exists, but Marvel and Capcom, they seem to be on good terms again, so if we're not gonna get a Marvel vs. Capcom game anytime soon, I'd be down with Cyclops making his appearance in this game. And you know what? They can even make it like the Marvel vs. Capcom version of Cyclops specifically. Like, give him back all of his moves, because for those of you who don't know, Cyclops is essentially a Shoto in the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Like, he literally has a Tatsu, he has the fireballs, obviously, you know, like with his eye beams and stuff. I feel like this would just be a really sick crossover, you know, just showing, like, for old time's sake. I'd also be down with them even doing, like, mechanics from that game. Like, he has, like, limited air combos. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to do, like, the old school, like, loops or anything like that. But, like, they did that with Akira in Rival Schools. Like, give him a launcher, and then he could do, like, a limited amount of, like, air juggles and stuff like that. And also, a cool idea for a stage would be the Danger Room stage, I think it is, from Children of the Atom, where like it's a bunch of different backgrounds for stages. That would be really cool. Also, for like the little world tour mode, they could have the X Mansion as like, you know, the little hub area you go to, and then you could just see like a bunch of like mutants and shit. I feel like that would be really sick. Also, they gotta recreate in some way the Ryu and Cyclops like iconic handshake. Like that's become too iconic, especially recently. We need it one more time. And yeah, that's it for the character characters that I want in fighting games. There are 2 more I'm just gonna quickly talk about, though. These are gonna be, like, super brief. Like, I just... no pun intended with one of them. But, yeah, okay, the crackhead time. This is the one that was, like, I was saying it was gonna be weird as fuck. Okay, a guy in power armor from Fallout and Guilty Gear. Just hear me out. Wait. I even think of, like, a specific Fallout character, to be honest with you. I just think, like, a guy in power armor would be kind of cool. I don't know, mainly the only reason I have this idea is just because Guilty Gear already has that, like, post-apocalyptic kind of, like, vibe to it. I mean, you could argue, I guess, mainly Strive, it's kind of, like, you know, not really. Like, it's way better than, like, the other games, at least. I don't know, it just fits kind of the vibe, and also, I would just like to hear the soundtrack for it. Like, honestly, because, you know, Daisuke, in his more recent, like, songs, he's been putting a lot of, like, classical or, like, old-timey sounding, like, show tune type, like, music in it, and I want to see them incorporate that, because, you know, that's basically the main music in Fallout. But yeah, I just want to see, like, a big gun guy in the game. I mean, I know we got Golda Lewis, but, like, I don't know, I want to see them, like, swap to, like, a variety of different things. I want to see them incorporate that as a mechanic as well. Also, the super where they just, like, shoot a fat man at you and then they just explode would be really funny. Now, this one is the idea and last one that started this whole idea of what made me even think of this. Like, I've thought of these characters before, but this one literally just happened. So, last night, I just finished Panty and Stalking. Pretty good series. And then I realized something. Wait a minute. These characters would fit in Skullgirls. And listen, I'm not the biggest Skullgirls aficionado on the planet. I've, like, barely played it. I liked it, though. I like this game. This game's so sick. But I don't really know much about it. And I don't even know how this would work. Because I'm pretty sure Skullgirls is, like, an indie game, I think. They could somehow work with Trigger to make this happen. I think it would be absolutely insane. Especially because Panty and Stalking fit so well in Skullgirls. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, if you've watched the show, you know how, crass, I guess that's the word, it could get. And, like, the designs of the characters and how, you know, provocative the designs and characters are. So I think they fit right at home, and especially because of how fast-paced and, like, frantic both series are, it would just make sense. Like, I don't know, that's the only way. I know I've said that a lot, but, like, it just makes sense, especially for these two. And before I even released this or started making this video, someone in my community post, they actually pointed out something like, they could work like Hisui and Kohaku and Melty Blood, how, like, they're 2-in-1 character. I don't really like that, though. I would rather them be their own separate characters. I feel like that'd make more sense. And also, this is already a team game, like Skullgirls. Well, you can choose how many teammates you have, but you just having, like, 2 characters you could use at the same time, I don't know how that would work for balance, but, yeah, Panty and Stalking would be crazy for Skullgirls. But, yeah, let me know what characters you want to see as guests in fighting games, and, see ya.